Welcome back to Wednesday Night Lights, where our primetime matchup is about to begin. A top 15 showdown between Michigan State and Boise State. Battle of the States here. And, I mean, this is the first time Boise State's actually ever been on my stream, so I am hyped to have them. And I'm hyped to have Mr. Pyro J in the booth with me tonight. 2 consecutive Night Lights broadcasts for you, man. How's your day going so far?
It's going well. It's going well. I'll tell you what, I got a taste for a Night Lights, and I had to come back for seconds. Come on now. Especially with what we got on our plate in front of us today. Michigan State, a lot of hype around this team, but I'm a Boise boy down to the bones, baby. I've casted in their esports arena. Loved it there. I casted when Durtho was a freshman. What is he? Oh, a junior? Senior?
I don't know. He's old is what he is. He's old.
He's growing up. He's growing up, and we're all growing up with the collegiate scene along with them, and I can't wait for these boys to take to the pitch. So thanks for having me today, MrBepic. How are you doing?
Doing great. I'm excited for this one. I don't know what to expect from Boise State. They're one of those CRL teams that doesn't really participate in all of the leagues that your general CRL squads do. They mostly just stick to the PEC and CRL, and I forget what else they play in. But it's I never expected them to be playing Showmatch, I suppose, is where that point is going. But Woozy saw the lineup I put together last week, and he was like, guys, we got to get in on this. And they have gotten in on this. And Michigan State, definitely no strangers to play on my stream. 10 series all time for the Michigan State A team. 7-3 in those matchups. So I'm excited to watch the starting lineup tonight. I actually don't know who the starting lineup is, honestly. There was the whole thing between Morvu and Knock, who was going to get that third spot. I don't know who it is, actually. I was waiting for tonight to find out. So it's kind of a live surprise to see really what both these teams look like.
Yeah, I mean, listen, last week when we casted, there was a team that had one of their starters in a soccer game, you know?
Yeah.
So, sometimes you know if the team that's being fielded is like that team, and you know that's part of what you get out of show matches, but I prefer that flavor sometimes. A little bit of uncertainty never worry us, never hurt us, right? We'll take whatever we get on the field, and boy, oh boy, I think we have an idea what we're getting on the field. Everybody just plopped in at a moment's notice, so MrBepic, I guess you could take it away.
All right, well, yeah, everyone just jumped straight in. They must have been in a party together, ready for this. And these are schools that are in the PEC together. They may or may not play this weekend on land at Syracuse in the PEC kickoff land. So this is a little bit of a preview for that if we get it. Of course, Syracuse can change that narrative, but either way, we are in for an absolute banger here. Top 15 teams, I believe, is where I've got both these guys in my rankings released today, and so I expect Rocket League of that caliber. Let's see what happens, though, as Michigan State and Boise State kick on off.
You know what? I love to talk about who's good to watch here, but it's hard to pick one when you can have your eyes focused on anybody on the field right now. I'm going to pick Op-Bomb, though. He's one of my favorite high school esports athletes to watch, and I think he's grown into the collegiate scene very smoothly, very nice. I want to see him take off and explode.
He's definitely been one of those guys to do that. I love his midfield play as a spearhead of an attack. He is lethal, and up front now he's looking to blow Preston up. Bit of lethality there, but out to the side it's Boise State given another chance with an open ball in the infield, and this is, I think, their debut of the season. I don't think they have played anything so far this fall, but they're getting scored on, and Pledge is the name credited with the goal. I don't know, actually, if it's a Michigan State player or if that's one of the other guys using a different name, so I'm going to go do some sleuthing.
All right, you do the sleuthing, I'll do the calling, and they hadn't done a lot of playing as far as you know, but they played themselves there because defensively just got shattered. Pledge right over it on the dunk for that first goal, and maybe it is a pseudonym because Pledge falling in nicely to the game so far. Well, maybe not that touch, though. That one falls by the wayside into no man's land. Big ball off the backboard that Durtho delicately places in the hands of Pledge. So Pledge will move forward. Any results there on the sleuthing, Bevan?
Yes, actually. So my sleuthing was just asking Twitch chat, and fortunately Jimmer, the Michigan State coach, is usually watching these streams. So he informed me it is Morvu, so Pledge is Morvu, everybody. No confusion needed. So Morvu has the starting spot here, and so far so good. He's got a goal to his name, and Boise State stopped on all fronts in that orange half, despite a lot of pretty good attempts. And now going back the other way, Michigan State with Drewy on the ball this time around, testing the mettle of that Boise State back line.
Yeah, you're going to have to continue to throw test after test at it until you hit that final exam and hope you ace it, because that's a backline that is beastly, known by the Lanimal of Durtho. But anyone on this team can pick up the saves. It is Durtho that time around. Pledge once more, a.k.a. Morvu. I don't know if it's like a pledge allegiance to Morvu or like a pledge because he's real clean with it. You know, I've still figured it out. This is pretty clean, though. Not good enough to get past Woozy.
Well, he is definitely known to change his name, so that's just a Morvu thing, and that is a Boise State thing. Scoring goals, I mean, it's a little bit easy for him, honestly. Woozy had an open net, but couldn't convert on it, and so he just pinched the ball behind Drewy and made him watch as Durtho tapped in an equalizer. And now, finally, Boise State are off and running with some results on the board.
Just love that combo from Boise. What's not to love about a kickoff goal? How does this happen?
Woozy fakes it, and Durtho, I don't think, got the memo that he was supposed to drive straight into that ball. So, yeah, kickoff strat gone wrong? I'm not entirely sure, but hey, Michigan State will be happy with that result as they get their lead right on back.
Okay, sometimes that's about as easy as it goes, and maybe the key is feeding the hot hand of Morvu, because at one point in time, he's able to score from anywhere on the field. Preston, unfortunate to not have picked that one up. It was Drewy to cover that on the crossbar, but not quite out of the woods yet. Here is Drewy, along with Morvu. It is Op Bomb this time around in the net that gets a long clear. Preston saw it coming. Nice first touch into the flip reset. Enacts it as well into the backboard. Has that follow from Woozy. It's a lob to the corner.
Ooh.
Preston, no angle for the goal.
So close, so many times for Boise State, but they have yet to actually score a non-counterattack goal. They've actually had some time to set up and pick Michigan State apart. In fact, that open net is really the only one they've scored, though it took a little bit longer than just tapping in an open net. And they've got a couple of tries that have nearly found this game tied up once again. Michigan State survived them and now have Drewy versus Preston up in the skies. And Drewy gets stopped, and a secondary attempt is stopped as well. Durtho slammed his fist into the ball there from above and made a save that keeps the ball out, and this game manageable.
There's a permanent ball-shaped crater in Champions Field now after Durtho Thor hammered it into the ground. I have no idea how the ball game is still in Michigan State's favor. Well, I guess only by one goal. Here it is, equalizer attempt from Durtho. He'll bring it right on back.
Yeah, that was soon to change. Boise State, they have all these elaborate setups, these complicated tries on net, and then it's just a simple sidewall strike that gives Durtho the equalizer right there. And that's the way Rocket League goes sometimes. So 2-2 here, and that's a kickoff strat that Boise State could be a bit proud of. Nearly got a late go-ahead goal, but Michigan State are able to stop it and force Boise back to the blue back wall, but Woozy thwarted before he's able to get into the offensive half, and well, we're fighting possession now with time dwindling here in game one.
Overtime lurking here. The Wednesday night lights are bright for these beautiful teams, and it was nearly beauty from Op Bomb on the crisscross play. Double force on the defense from Boise as Morvu tries to maneuver it in for a teammate shot. It's Woozy, though, with a long clear. This could be the dead ball that Michigan State hoped for to end up in OT, but instead it's Morvu. Final play off the corner. Op Bomb wants a slice, won't get it. Durtho plays for a extended time here with the 0-second play. Morvu back up and at it. Both teams want a shot at it, but finally it dies. We're on to extra time.
Yeah, and I think in most cases tonight, with this being a show match and all between two confident rosters, I don't foresee any just ground it and get us to overtime unless the team is in some real danger. So both sides wanted that opportunity at the end of regulation. Neither were able to capitalize on one. So it's overtime in game one, a fitting way to begin this best of 7. And it's Michigan State still on the front foot. That continues from that 0-second play, but the passing play doesn't quite connect, and Boise State are allowed an opportunity to break out as Drewy's been taken away. Durtho plays off the backboard, and I think that shot caromed off a Woozy, but was probably stopped by Michigan State either way.
Could have been one of those that I still want to see where it would have ended up there. Oh, front and center and light. I was expecting a shot to the top corner, but I guess that wasn't their moment. Uzi and Dirtha to the back corner to start again. Long clear to Preston, who could have pre-jumped into that ball, but was a little late to the party. This one early on, Preston gets a ball off the ceiling. Back up and over as Morvu follows this, but Durtho slams it back into the sidewall. Boise not willing to give up that possession as easily, yet still it finds itself in the blue half.
Really good clear for Michigan State as Drew was taken out, but up on Morvu bought enough time for this to be a much easier defense, even though Boise State got a quick clear right on back after Michigan State sought after some offense, which they now get to play with an up bomb in the middle of the field. Morvu was hunting for his teammate, but Boise State are putting together really good defensive stands at the moment. This is a great test. Woozy's up. The double never comes, though. It's a fake for Op-Bomb, hopefully, as that was a great opportunity to win the game with a double tap. But either way, Preston makes a big-time save, and Boise State keep on breathing in Game 1.
And I was certain that the threat of a double tap would close OT finally, but no, 2 minutes pressed on, and we'll see how far we get into it. A double commit this time forced on the other end as Op-Bomb center stage will relieve the ball back to Boise. On clear, though, that Preston meets Morvu on. It's over to Durtho's side, but Durtho has to play the back line instead. The interception from Op-Bomb, not good enough for the score. Woozy trying to follow up Morvu, take him off the boost or the ball, but has to settle for just that touch over to the midfield again. Boise are swarming Michigan State anywhere on the court, trying to hassle him, trying to force a mistake, but it's just not coming through as Op-Bomb sends a shot to the top ring. It might be up to Preston off the backboard, but he's not on the side, then it scores. Drewy calls game.
Neon Green Nuke to conclude Game 1 after 7.5 minutes of play, as both he and Morvu are both up for that final strike, but Drewy beats everybody right there, and that was no easy feat as demonstrated by the Boise State defense throughout that game, as once we settled in, and it didn't feel like either side was capable of scoring on the other, as I think Michigan State maybe looked a little bit more awkward at times in defense, but got the job done, and then Boise State was a pretty rock-solid wall that only started to show cracks after a pretty steady flow of offense from those Spartans.
Steady flow of the offensive opportunities. I also just want to call out the lethality in the attack from Michigan State. They were putting up really fast double taps, well-placed shots. That's what was forcing Boise to double commit. As soon as they double commit, that third man is in a really tough opportunity. Durtho made a heroic save into the ground. We saw, I think it was Durtho again that had to make a third man save, but then there was the last opportunity again off a double commit that Preston had to position on the backboard, cover all angles of the net, and just couldn't get to that opposite side. So I think Michigan State displayed a great ability to put their opposition in awkward situations and leverage it for those goals.
And Boise State is probably one of the fastest teams, I think, on average at the top of CRL. So making sure they aren't able to make plays, especially in goal line defense, is really difficult. Michigan State was able to space them apart there at the end of overtime. And it took 7.5 minutes. It was a labored effort on both sides of the ball. But the Spartans take Game 1. Look to start us off again here in Game 2 as Morvu flicks towards the back board of Boise State. I don't know why I couldn't get that out for a second, but Boise able to get the ball out pretty quickly and now start their counterattack and transition into offense.
Who gave Preston all this time and space? I'm surprised that wasn't a goal right there. We might have had some physicality on the ground there. Preston with a reset and a shot could have done it. But Michigan State, well, they'll be happy to see the ball game still at 0-0. Looks like Boise have some revenge in store for this one, because this has been a hot and heavy first 30.
Again, it's rapid possession, and finally they get their golden look, but the shot is just off target, though Op-Bomb will help his boys out they all did join this lobby at the same time. I assume they were all in a party together, and so I assume a bit of camaraderie. Off-bomb tried to get the ball out into the corner, but accidentally played it back out in front for Woozy to tap on in.
It feels like the theme of Game 1 OT has flooded right into Game 2, because right before Boise did get scored on, and this might be another goal as it is, Preston sends it through. They were hunting for demos, head hunting Michigan State, even when they didn't have the ball on the offensive end. So Michigan State under more and more pressure, and Boise finally making them break.
Yeah, the first one's a bit more forgivable. That miss there is a bit strange, and this has to be a welcome sight for Boise, who were battling from behind. It felt like the entirety of Game 1. I can't remember if it was all of Game 1, but I talk about the feelings of it, and that is how it felt. Michigan State are trying to strike back and end up overcommitting. It's an open net for Preston, and just like that, it is 3-0 for Boise.
Yeah, this was a ball that came off the backboard. I thought a double tap might come through. Durtho, instead of having to play that shot, just read it off the back wall, and it ended up working out for them. So, yeah, a welcome sight indeed, up 3.
That was a juicy one for Michigan State. Too tantalizing a prospect to keep that third man back and ready for a quick counter. So, Michigan State get the hooks set into them and are pulled out of position, giving up third now to Boise, and so the Spartans have to battle back. But Boise State, to their credit, I mean, they dropped a hard-fought Game 1 that they very well could have won, and now moving into Game 2 are looking like they've upgraded early on in this best of 7. As now off the ceiling, Preston is immediately ready for a read, a clear, and a pass downfield to Woozy. He just misses on the redirect, and that could have been a fourth. Michigan State weren't ready for it.
I feel like they were, because that redirect was telegraphed for what felt like in slow motion. I feel like Woozy almost didn't even want the redirect at that point, saying, okay, they know it's coming. Let's just move on with it. And so moving on, they have. And nearly caught out again as Michigan State. Durtho has the touch off the crossbar. There's the follow that should be good. You just can't find your way out of that one.
You want to talk about slow motion? Op-bomb here is trying everything he can to get the proper angle on that slow lobbing shot from Woozy, but Boise State's offense is looking unstoppable at the moment, playing with at an impressive pace that Michigan State are having a tough time getting a handle on. A lot of awkward moments where the ball is just out of reach for the Spartans, or maybe double commit in defense rather. Opens up more space for Boise's offense to operate. And I mean, 4-0 in the first half of play tells you a pretty rough story here after Michigan State was the team starting off with the Game 1 win.
I mean, you mentioned the speed out of Boise, and I think that speed also speaks to their springiness. You mentioned it being out of reach for Michigan State. That's because Boise spring on these counterattacks and will make it so that they move so quickly that it is out of reach and succeed on these counterattacks. So Michigan State need to try to get their feet set in this game. Overextending by even just a little bit may equal a 5th goal.
Preston was ready for that too, since there wasn't an opportunity immediately incoming, and so it's more good passing out of defense for Boise State. And with 2 minutes left, there is a lot of Game 2 left to play, but the back line of Boise State is looking so much more composed, and they're still playing with a similar amount of space given up to Michigan State, and actually does burn them this time around. Woozy complements the pass there as Morvu locates Drewy from the skies, and that extra little flip reset oomph on the ball is what makes that first for the Spartans.
Just a little dash of flavor will do it, and it did burn them, as that nuclear goal explosion is still burning my eyes. I don't know who told them to paint the nuclear explosions, but I don't know. Rocket League's the one game we don't have flashbangs, but bang, bang, we nearly get Drewy for a 2nd goal on this one. Durtho would not allow it, and even Preston has a say to find this ball away.
There were 2 teams actually that should be allowed to use a colored nuke goal explosion. It would be the green of Michigan State, and I think Boise, whose football field we are all familiar with if you're in the traditional sports realm, and how blue that thing is. But we haven't seen the blue nuke on the side of Boise State, just regular goal explosions, and they won't allow us to see any more green goal explosions, as that was a chaotic opportunity out in front that Boise just get back in time to stop. up, and Morphew again diving Drewy up, but he couldn't read the shot in time, and this is a 4-1 that could have been trimmed down a little while ago.
Oh, get it! Get it! Oh, Drewy, yeah! It was Morvu to pass beautifully with that double tap, and it was all for naught. Drewy said, now hold on. I'm gonna make sure we earn something off this possession. Lovely double tap.
Michigan State have had a lot of conversations surrounding their Rocket League camp this off season. I mean, the conversation of Knock or Morvu was a big one. Morvu's certainly proven himself tonight. Drewy, the big addition, one of the biggest pickups, I think, of the entire offseason, certainly proving himself tonight to be exactly what we knew him to be. An extremely talented on-ball player that can score on a whim, and right there, set up by Morvu, cuts this lead of Boise State down to 2, but I think this game was over a little while ago, despite the effort of the Spartans.
Yeah, you can say that again. I think 4 goals with half a game to go is going to be pretty tough to find together. But, as you mentioned, despite it being a show match, I think there's always something to prove here. And Michigan State, whether they came in the same party or not with Boise State, definitely want to prove that they're toe-to-toe with this stacked squad of Boise. They find their first win in Game 2.
Yeah, I mean, a certain Rocket League pundit had Boise State ranked top 10 today. Michigan State at 15 or 16. I actually can't recall where he had his top 32 rankings shake out. But Michigan State, Morvu actually DM'd me, and he was like, hey, I think you've got both us and Boise State ranked too low. So he thinks very highly of both these rosters. And we are, I think, seeing a display of top 10 CRL caliber play from both these two. And it's just games 1 and 2 now. Guaranteed at least 5, but I have a feeling this one could go the distance. It's on Champions Field for a reason. I wouldn't mind a full best of 7 as we continue to go back and forth. And I mean, even there, a 4-1 scoreline or a 4-0 scoreline still felt back and forth.
Did, yeah. Somehow Michigan State managed to make that feel like an even game, especially in the second half. I have to say, with that seeding conversation, any team is going to want to convince you that they're top 10, because when you look at how that CRL League play is with only 8 making it in that main squad, they're like, please seed me as good as you can for that qualifier, please. But I like the confidence in these teams, and it takes games like these to show off that, yeah, we are top 10 and beyond. That being said, getting past one another in this match is going to start to say a lot. So let's see. We're even Steven. It's game 3.
I see a certain Bass from the past in the Twitch chat right now saying top 10 is bold, but I've yet to see his preseason top 32 rankings that he said was coming soon TM 12 days ago now. So go ahead and put that out there on your own time, man. But still have yet to see it from you. And Boise State continuing their form. 40 seconds in. It's great pressure on Michigan State. It doesn't seem to be letting up anytime soon.
Okay. Oh, that was amazing. Yeah, come on, Baz. Get to work, brother, huh? You know? You know, we don't have to wait for Friday. You can send them in the old DMs if you're feeling good about it. I love some good lists, but let's start on the big list of goals here, shall we? Michigan State, the only team to score in the last 3 minutes, 4 minutes of gameplay. Maybe they can keep it going here in this one. They got possession. Drewy trying to find his way through Woozy and company, as actually Boise very low on boost right now. Now's the time to strike. Who finds the backboard, as does Drewy. Takes it high with a full tank of boost. Flip resets there. Preston gives every ounce of boost just to touch it away.
Everyone from Boise is collected on the goal line here, and they're taking their time. As much as we talk about the pace of the Broncos, they bide their time, wait patiently without a whole lot of boost on their goal line, and refuel now. Durtho and Preston both have near full tanks, and Preston tried to steal Michigan State's 100 there, but Drewy ends up fueling his tank with it, though Boise have gotten themselves firmly planted back into offense, though don't have a fast start to work with this time around, as Michigan State have stayed a bit more composed defensively despite some high-flying antics out of those blue cars. That was nearly the opener.
There, but as both teams have proven they can win a game, can they win that opening goal Maybe another couple minutes before we see that. Drew, other ideas in mind. Ground to air dribble gets past one, but not the rest. There's Morvu with a light touch back to Opbomb. He goes in for the diving bump, but it's saved instead. Woozy with the evasive mechanics and the savior medal. Morvu again, double tap, vertical angle saved by Woozy. He's got to read every time.
What a clean save. Woozy on the goal line is still doing work. Backing up into that ball off the goal line and now bailing out, letting Preston take over. Boise State are staying composed and in transition, looking to make sure Michigan State can't play easy defense, but it's still the Spartans that end up scoring first for all the good goal line work the Broncos have done. Drewy and Opbomb, a dynamic duo up front, will clear the path towards that opener.
Felt like 9 rounds of haymakers, and finally the knockout blow there. That was on the 7th shot for Michigan State that they earned their first goal. Boise always keen to remind teams that it's going to take quite a bit of effort, but Michigan State up to the challenge.
Always up to the challenge. These guys are always ready to play a show match, a big-time land grand final. I don't think it matters the setting for Michigan State. They are always ready to prove themselves, and Boise's in the same conversation now. Like I said earlier, Woozy was the one that asked for this. He saw my Twitter posts about nightlight show matches and added Durtho and Preston, was like, guys, we got to get on this. And they both replied, sure, in a pretty quick tandem. So they were ready as well, on the same page too, but need to step up in game 3 now. Is it a 4-goal performance of the previous 5 minutes game has kind of left them here. They haven't had the same sort of goal line pressure to make Michigan State crack under this time around.
Any pressure whatsoever. Like, that's what Boise was built on in this series, but it's lackadaisical at best this time around. Light lob out of Durtho. Full boost stolen from Preston. So is it the time to strike? Up on a strong 50, thinks not, and Morvu positions for the 50 against Woozy. Dives in there for the challenge. Preston is going to control. They still have a minute to make this work, but still far from finding the fruits of their labor. Woozy challenging that even on 0 boost, just still can't beat the defense of Michigan State. Preston up for this one. Double off the corner, won't go.
Was going for it though. Big extra touch. Could have found a teammate center. Durtho eventually does receive his pass, but Morvu's up so early to contest that. His corner double won't quite find a connection. Let's see if Opbomb has a better time in this same defensive corner as everybody else has been struggling in. And no one seems to be able to maintain control of the ball out of that corner, but Opbomb's okay with that. The ball leaks out, and he has himself an easy open net to convert on. 2-0 for Michigan State as Boise stretch themselves a bit too thin here at the end of Game 3.
Gotta try to dive in for that last goal. It just won't go at this point. So 2 up for Michigan State. Barring this kickoff goal, they'll take the lead back in the series. But it is the ball straight to Woozy. And you know, I would have expected a Boise player pre-jump in that, but for once in a million years, it wasn't the case. Maybe that's because the story was written otherwise. We still got a second on that clock.
All right, I think fitting for this matchup, everybody hold your horses right now, except for the 3 on the field. 1 second, 1 goal. All that's necessary to force an OT in a game that looked like it was lost for Boise. And, I love the kickoff strategy. If they had maybe 2 seconds on the clock there, it's a 1v1 with OT on the line, but Michigan State are able to get Game 3 across the finish, and that's not a bad performance from them after getting blown out of the water at the start of Game 2 in the game previous.
Well, that's a key word there, the start of the game previous. Boise State scored 4 goals in that game, and it was in the first half of that game. We actually went 8 minutes without a single Boise goal, which maybe it was a little more laid back in game number 2, but you can't say the same for game number 3, where they nearly went scoreless. We were touting the Boise backline at the start of this series, but the narrative has certainly shifted to Michigan State's defense.
I think both back lines still look phenomenal, as Boise only gave up really the one counterattack goal, the passing play between Opbomb and Drewy, and the second one was that open net that their offense kind of gave up. But Michigan State have elevated that backline defense for sure, as the conversation certainly has shifted, as Morvu looks to once again try and set up an easy breakthrough play, and Drewy just missed there. That's another one I'd like to watch back. I hope it's included in the replay.
Yes, coming off the backboard, they saw it come in, and Drewy leapt for it, dove, and as you said, just missed. So it's another one of those balls that goes in that you can't really attribute to a lacking defense for Michigan State, but more of a mishap.
I think he was expecting the ball to bounce outwards towards the corner. Instead, it took a bit of a skip off the post. That's my analysis upon watching it back once. But that is a tough one to give up. But, you know, fair enough. That's how Michigan State got their insurance goal to close out Game 3. That's how Boise State start off the scoring here in the 4th. Drewy tries to make up for a previous error by setting up Morvu, who catches, pops, and is denied by Woozy. More good reads from him off the Broncos' back line.
It has been reading it like a book today for Woozy on the defense. Boise have a lot that they owe to Woozy on those reads, and nearly Durtho turned it around on the offensive end there for the sidewall read. Didn't occur there, though. Instead, it's Morvu below one at the midfield line. It's stolen by Drewy, and Morvu nearly finds a lane to get that in the net. I didn't know if they were going for the shot or the bump on the last goalie. Bump might have coordinated into a win there, but Michigan State, more work to be done to find that equalizer.
And Morvu was kind of thwarted on his bump play up ahead with Preston playing great defense, and then dodged a bump play of his own, and that clear sets up another open net. And I mean, once again, it's an easy tap in for Drewy here. Actually has to jump over Preston, a little less easy than we've seen previously, but Boise again caught out with no one on the back line.
It's a battle of who wants to have a more reserved third. Are you willing to have that insurance ready to play the counterattack? Because if not, then we're going to keep seeing goals like this that, as you said, are just that tap in. It's much more than a tap needed by Michigan State, though, to find their way around the slow progression here. Preston using every bit of boost just for the 50 there. Opbomb given a lot of space, so he plays it to himself. Stolen by his own teammate. Morvu gets the dunk afterwards, and Preston will continue to play corner ball with the rest of Michigan State.
Two players jumping for it for Boise State. Neither one making contact, but it's the third man that gets the most forward momentum on the ball. Durtho finds a clear for Boise. Now Preston go to work in offense. He's stolen that 100 actually from Morvu, so let's keep an eye on that, as it'll be a while before Morvu's back in the play, and he refuels, sensing an opportunity, as now he joins the play from up front, not rotating back in, and that's savvy, but doesn't pan out. Boise State snuffed that play out and will keep us level at 1-1.
Yeah, it's been suffocating for Boise. I love that behind-the-back challenge from Woozy, saying, no, I see you going for the reset, and I don't want to see what comes after. I'm going to snipe that ball from you the same way that Opbomb snipes the opportunity on the line and carries it forward. It's going to be a low challenge from him to try to get it to a teammate, but that's stricken away as well. Saved by Durtho. You just can't get around them.
When Morvu was chatting to me about why he thought Boise State should be ranked higher than 10th in the power rankings, he was saying that these guys have been on a grind to get ready for this fall semester, and you're seeing the form. I mean, everyone, it feels like, are making good reads, and when the mistakes do happen, it's more rotational, and you maybe allocate resources poorly in the moment as a team to give up an open net, and that's same to be said for both sides, as this is a battle of wits as well as mechanical skill, and I think both are on point. Sometimes you just look a little bit silly when the other team gets the best of you. That's competition.
Yeah, it is, and I think it's also a consequence of what Boise are willing to attempt to do, which is, you know, a Durtho off the ceiling on the other side of the field, or a Woozy following some third defender trying to get the demolition. The risky gameplay does result in some awkward moments, but it also results in an explosive offense, which is exactly what they need in the final minute here to tie this series back up.
Passing play connects, and that could have been an open backboard if Morvu wasn't quick to jump into coverage. And now he's going to take the ball past Preston, and does so, but sacrifices his life in the process. And Boise were more ready to pounce on that ball than the rest of Michigan State. So we continue our battle for maybe that final play of regulation to snatch victory from the jaws of overtime right now. Not quite defeat for anybody except for Boise State now that you mention it. Morvu snatches a go-ahead goal with 20 seconds left off the ground and in. No one on the back line could stop that.
Not to mention he stole the ball off Woozy and then doubled it off the ground. Woozy has been the biggest thorn in the side for Morvu all day long. So for him to do that to Woozy is diabolical. And now it's just about keeping the peace. Can Michigan State hold this lead? Gotta remember it was that 2-second mark or 1-second mark that Boise scored on the last one. Can they do it again? It's Durtho. Have to take a boost. Oh. Woozy with the leading demo. Yeah, Durtho says clear the lane for it because it's coming.
That came out of nowhere here. 2 players move up for Michigan State, and that's, again, resource allocation. It's kind of misplayed. Going for a bump or a demo play there at the end is a little bit risky considering how good Boise State have been in transition, and that was perfectly executed. Got the lead blocker up ahead, and Boise force overtime with a goal on 3 seconds to play. Let's keep game 4 going, shall we?
Yeah, I mean, the Michigan State know better than to know that that game's just not over. Well formulated from Boise, but what can they do now that they've earned this extra time? It was Durtho with no boost to leave it for a teammate, but that follow-up came a bit late. It's enough, though, to give Preston some space for the air dribble bump into the shot, but he misses the bump and the stop is made. Morvu with a nice read off the backboard, but off bomb, low boost to follow this one up. Durtho the same. Players are expending their own resources, or more so, the lack thereof, just to get that extra touch.
Oh, missed there from Durtho. Preston was looking for him downfield because he didn't have the boost to follow it up himself, but Durtho ends up missing again. And all of that kind of works out in the favor of Boise as they're given a shot on target. Michigan State were expecting more than a couple of misfires from the blue cars up for the ball. And so we keep this battle going in the Michigan State half. But now Durtho making good contact down to Woozy, and that shot's just off target. The rebound the same. The game will give Opbom a save, so 75 points, you know, a little bit earned. It's more for a clear out to safety into the corner and maybe the play that it develops into. But I just got to do it again. Off the backboard. Can't quite read that shot from Durtho, but it was off to the side either way, so Michigan State are given a chance to recover.
And oh man, we are a couple inches away, a couple hundred units, I should say, away from this win. It was the bow shot, but now it's the backboard read from Drewy. That's not gonna go. Boise, first time really playing some solid defense, or needing to in the overtime stretch. And so far, they're passing these tests with flying colors. Preston able to get just the tip with that touch. Durtho, the pinch off the wall, earns more momentum to carry it on to the orange side. Drewy loses control really of that ball. That opens the gap for Boise to take control. It'd be hard to do that, missing a player on the field though. Morvu, air dribble, pass one. Can he get the 50 on Preston to set up for Drewy? Not quite. Preston closes the gap.
And Opbom will get an initial stop. Woozy's quick to try and set up a secondary opportunity for his Broncos. It may come in the form of some extended possession. Michigan State are well set up for this defensive. They clear the ball over Woozy. Preston's all the way back. He's ready for that possibility. And will look to set Boise State back up into offense, but gets bumped off the play. So Michigan State have now finally flipped the field as they were playing on their back line for what felt like the entirety of the start of overtime. But we have seen a lot of play transpire, and Morvu recognized that was off. So play will continue, but for how much longer? As Boise State just seemed maybe one more bump connecting or one better touch away from ending this game 4 in their favor.
Yeah, and one better communication as well.
Maybe.
We had the bump coming in, we had the midfield pass, and then we didn't really have that third man willing to commit to it. So, you know, it may be fair, Boise, because you've been dusted on the third man being too far up before. Maybe everyone should commit to a play like this, though. Barreling in with the bumps, the setup on the goal line, the shot from Durtho won't go. In fact, he's the victim of a demolition instead. But it takes more than that to quit the momentum from Boise. They're still hunting this ball down as Durtho lays into it.
Still, Boise get to play offense now. Michigan State have not had many opportunities as a result of a lack of possession throughout the 3.5 minutes we've watched of OT, and the chances have come largely in transition, which Boise won't even give them right now. Durtho has Woozy across the box, and well, actually got to him, but at a pace that he wasn't able to react to. As Preston goes up sidewall with enough boost in hand to set up Durtho for a follow, and he ends up dunking a Michigan State player. I think that was a double commit that Boise State turned into a really good-looking chance, but the Spartans will not break. They are bent out of shape in defense, but they've not yet broken.
Gotta credit the perseverance right now from Michigan State. It's a surprise how they haven't broken quite yet, but it feels like the death timer is on the clock. It may be punching up, but how much can they keep down from what Durtho has sent them forward? It's this time Durtho needing to make this save. Morvu has been lethal today on the backboard and off the ceiling, and maybe this time with Drewy towards the net. Preston making the last second save. Woozy on no boost going for the bump at the goal line. They are venomous when it comes to these counterattacks. That one, though, not even finding a ball near the net.
Well, we've already had a 5.5-minute overtime in the Shawnee State James Madison set before this one, and it seems like we're approaching that territory now with the 5-minute mark, a couple seconds away. Boise State could end it now. Durtho was up real early from maybe an unexpected spot if Michigan State lost track of him in their corner, but they still get up to meet the shot. And Boise State, despite mixing it up on the defense of MSU, still cannot get that third and game-winning goal. And now it's Michigan State's turn. They don't get a lot of these, so we'll see how they approach it. And they'll have to approach it without Morvu, who's been taken out by Preston, but at least the 50-50 game of Op-Bomb is still on point, and that ends up leading to a potential game-winning chance, though it's the rebound that falls in. Michigan State weather a stampede of Broncos in their defensive end and win Game 4.
Stampede is right. Preston saw the pass to Uzi in the corner, just didn't get the power on it, so they noticed the mistake. You just need one to strike when it comes to overtime, and it is Michigan State to take it over 3-1 in the series. And I mean, I hope people expected a close match, because I certainly did, MrBepic, but with Boise down 1-3, got some work to do.
Yeah, little bit of work to be done now with a couple of close games lost here, as that 4-2 was a good way to get back into the series, but now Michigan State is winning the close games that Boise State win the field domination battle in as well. That was 60-40 in favor of Boise, and I mean, it was pretty even going into overtime, so you have to kind of adjust for that, as overtime felt maybe 70-30 with the amount of time Boise State spent in their offensive half. But Michigan State play great defense. They don't let the unexpected plays of Boise break them down and finally get their opportunity to close things out in Game 4. But they've still got to close this series out and any of the next 3.
It's about the long run. Boise, they just endured that overtime along with Michigan State, so if they were flying as fast as they were with all that pressure, then I think they're ready for the long road that could be ahead. But Michigan State have impressed as the series has gone on, especially Morvu. The passing plays off the mechanical display, like it's no surprise to see that even with no boost at the end, there's still a flip reset left from Morvu. Those are the plays that have started some of the best opportunities for Michigan State.
Dunk could be a catalyst as well. Out to the side, Preston will chase down what Durtho set up for him. Ends up beating a couple of players there in the Michigan State corner, but that's the benefit of playing defense in your corner. It's not easy for the offense still, despite winning some challenges, to get the ball into an immediately lethal position. And so Michigan State will clear the zone and see Boise clear it right back on them. Another dunk here from Durtho, as he will not leave the faces of Michigan State, who jump up together. Drewy and Morvu, maybe confusing Preston a bit, but still no clear despite the smoke and mirrors show, and Boise will set up camp in that offensive half again.
I really like the field position there from Boise. They had one in the center and two on the sides, but Preston hid it away from Woozy. And that felt like the first domino to fall in the final collapse of Boise as op bomb right under Woozy.
These passing plays, Michigan State certainly know how to link up in transition, though that's more of a, just a strong hit that ended up falling in the lap of op bomb. And he knows what to do with a shot like that. He used his pace to step up and score the opener. Michigan State, for all the close games we've seen, could close things out in 5 if they're able to get this multi-goal lead now over the finish line.
I respect it, op bomb. Take it straight to the hole. Air dribble right under the crossbar. And hey, if Boise can't keep up, then that's just another goal for Michigan State. Op bomb still working towards the goal line. He's an explosive that is crushing everybody.
Get a long fuse in this series, though. I think Drewy and Morvu were largely the main operators in offense throughout the first several games of this series, and now, all of a sudden, the fuse has finally reached its conclusion, and we get the op bomb show that a lot of us are used to seeing watching Michigan State, as he's got a hat trick in the first 2 minutes of play, and Morvu wants some of the spotlight himself. Spectacular individual effort to put the Spartans now up 4.
This is egregious. I mean, listen, Morvu's been putting off those flip resets with ease all day long, and I think at this point the defense expects it and still can't save it. Right? That's how violent he is behind the ball in an aerial composition. So impressive as ever. They're so confident that they're double committing on these opportunities, and that one will get away from them. Boise can take a breath for a moment.
Good 50-50. Well, could have said about either team right there. Both teams had players in the area to make a play happen, and it's Boise State that needed a bit more than Michigan State does right now. But a 2v2 is stopped by op bomb as well, getting the job done in defense as well as with his hat trick on the front foot. But 2 minutes to go now. Boise State have been great at controlling possession, but they need to convert on that possession sooner rather than later. This is a great opportunity that Durtho doesn't end up pulling the trigger on. Had Woozy in front of him, and now he's beaten on the way back. That puts Preston in a weird spot. So Morvu gets another goal, and this series is looking pretty close to over.
I think that play demonstrates a lot of what this series has been, which is Morvu forcing themselves in the driver's seat. Discuss the speediness of Boise State, sometimes a tough team to keep up with, especially as some of their players are in your own zone, trying to demo you when you don't even realize it. But those counterattacks and that mechanical brilliance, that situational awareness that Morvu has displayed, especially on that last play past Durtho, has just been the better end of it at the end of the day.
Well, Pledge, Morvu, I still don't know the story behind Pledge here. We might be able to get an answer in the post-match interview. If this one does end up wrapping up Michigan State's favor, which is becoming a safer and safer bet with every passing second, he's got a chance to clip once again late in regulation, but that double tap will be off, and op-bomb and Drewy are giving each other a little high five there in the midfield. A victory lap being taken by the Spartans as they have 4-1 to team they could be seeing on land this weekend up at Syracuse. And it's still TBD, as Michigan State will have to beat Syracuse on home turf. But still, if they can take this kind of form into that land this weekend, I think that is a very likely outcome.
I think maybe the best thing that Boise can do to increase their odds in a tough matchup that they realize it will be, I'm sure they knew that already, is play more Bepic Night Lights.
Yeah.
Matches, right? This will be 8-3 now for Michigan State after this win in the Night Lights episode. So clearly the experience on the biggest show matches for Collegiate has. I think it pays off, but no, hey, broad strokes aside, I am so impressed with Michigan State. I came into this being so excited to see this Boise roster that we know so much of, that we understand is grinding to hell and back. But take another lap, Boise, because you had another thing coming tonight.
Well, I'll see how Boise State develops throughout the season. We'll get to watch a lot of them, I'm sure, during CRL events, and I think we said for both rosters. They put on a show for us. I mean, we had 3 out of 5 games as 1-goal affairs, but the thing is, Michigan State won all 3 of those 1-goal affairs, and you win the close games, you're probably going to be all right in a series like this. Well done to Michigan State, and I'm going to let them know that they are welcome to join us in the booth, Pyro, if any of them want a post-match interview.
Yeah, I hope we do get to chat with them. Any doubts aside that, is Morvu going to be on the starting roster? Hopefully, are just put completely to bed, because clearly it shouldn't have even have been a question. I can't wait to hear about how the team formulates around just the brilliant mechanical work that he was able to do. Most of them being passes off the ceiling or the backboard or what have you. So exciting to watch, should be exciting even more so to hear about.
Well, we will get more of him in the booth with us momentarily here. As shout out Jimmer, I think he's the one person that has an interview ready before I even have to at anyone about it. So we'll get to hear all about tonight's series from the perspective of Morvu, and he's a great chat as well. I believe he's done a couple of these post-match interviews in Nightlight show matches. As he'll get to talk about his opponent, who I'm sure he's quite familiar with. These are 2 PEC schools that I expect to make deep runs in that competition, as well as in CRL too. So we're setting up the season quite nicely. Now that things are kind of underway. Like NECC placements were tonight. NACE is now into week 2. The PCL started this week. CCS has been ongoing. We're finally in season, Pyro. I hope you're able to keep up with everything.
How do you? Like, honestly, because it sounds like when back in college when I talked to someone in a different study or a different major, and they threw out like 15 acronyms, and I'm like, what? Is that English? Was that a language? So if you want to follow Collegiate, get ready to not just be knee deep, but the whole body in the mud trying to move through and keep up. There's a lot of leagues I am really excited about, NECC in particular. I'm still salivating for a qualifier bracket for CRL, but you know, the conversations are endless at this point for that matter. I'm just excited that we get matches like this to get a magnifying glass on what could be cooking as the season begins.
It's a good glimpse. And to answer your question, most people, when they take their morning coffee, they go outside, like sit on a porch or relax or something, read the newspaper. No, I scroll around through Collegiate Rocket League forums and Twitter and websites. So that's how I do it. But we don't have to wait any longer talking about what I do in my mornings, because we've got Morvu in the booth with us after a big-time win and performance. Morvu, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. That felt good.
Yeah, I can see how. I mean, I just had Boise State ranked top 10, and you told me today that they should be ranked higher than 10th in the power rankings. And I think, same can be said for you guys as well. How's the team developing going into the fall?
Well, Drewy has a very, very unique set of skills. So, I even think this region, to be honest, he just knows when to challenge. He really will set you up for anything. It's a great teammate to have. It's a great pickup. It's a random pickup, just him coming back here. And so just being able to play off that, Oppom, he gets demos. And then I decided to learn how to use my car correctly. And so it's all forming well. We've had a couple off scrims. These guys were smoking us in scrims, not even for this week, literally this week. So I mean, it just feels good. We get into form sometimes, and we all know when we're in form and when we're not. And today was just one of those days where we can just feel out for each other.
Wow, it's really cool to hear about that, Morvu. Thanks for shedding light onto the different roles that players play. You're talking a little bit about how Drury just kind of tees you guys up and sets up opportunities, but I'd like to say that that's a big back and forth between you and Drury. You were setting up ceiling double tap passes straight down to Drury, these vertical passes that nearly linked up to perfection. And you say a lot of work has been put in for you personally to, as you said, make your car move the right way. I'm excited. I want to hear more about that. What has that growth been like? What are the kind of things you've been focusing on to play to such a mechanical role? Because your mechanics, more than anyone on this pitch tonight, shined for me.
Well, first and everything, shout out Jimmer for being the luckiest person, like making us the luckiest people. Just for him to be our CRL coach, that's just like also just another random but a great pickup by the esports program. But also, I've been talking to so many like good players and stuff like that, and learning the game through a lot of guys, because I think that helps too, getting many perspectives and stuff like that. And shout out Nim, shout out Charlie B from the other side of the pond. They helped me out a lot too. It's just, I took a lot of time. I spent my whole freshman year not leaving this facility until like 7 in the morning sometimes, just to get better at this game, because I wanted to fill my part. Like I grinded for this year, and we got Drewy, and it's about to be a great year, and we're not going to stop putting the pedal on.
Yeah, I hope that's the case. I mean, I just imagine the ceiling higher and higher. So I want to, with one more question from me, I want to hit on one of your points about, you know, you're either in your flow or you're not. And clearly in this match you were. I mean, to me, I was talking about how you in particular were just in the driver's seat, especially against a team like Boise, who tends to set the pace faster than anyone can keep up. What is that switch like? Like, I feel like you can identify the switch to where you're in that flow. Can you describe to me, like, what is the turning point? How does that become apparent? And how most do you take advantage of that moment?
Well, so I don't want to say it's an individual thing for any of us. I mean, I consider us all to like be on the game enough to like where we feel consistent going into every day. I mean, obviously, if you're off days, but it's really playing together. Like we very well mix together. But like getting a feel for each other. I mean, we're going to like our facility now, so getting used to the new setups. It's just like a first week thing. I don't expect it to last longer than, what is it, September? Like, yeah, it's gonna end in September, and we're gonna have a good feel for each other every day. I trust Drewy. I trust I trust me. We're gonna get this done.
Yeah, hey, you got it done tonight, and I mean, you guys are playing this weekend as well on LAN. I hear up in Syracuse. You got any thoughts on that event going on? Because that's an official PEC match, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's the season kickoff. Yeah, it'll be something.
It'll be something. I mean, you're going into kind of enemy territory. Playing at Syracuse for this. I mean, have you guys previewed that matchup at all? Have you done any prep for it? Are you looking forward to playing on LAN? What are your thoughts about playing this weekend?
So we play Syracuse and then hopefully play Boise State. Speaking on Syracuse, personal grudge match for me.
Oh,
I'm ready for that one. I've been waiting for that one. And then Boise, I mean, it's for, I mean, you watched the matches. I know you have. Like, it's back and forth between us on LAN, off LAN. Like, we're just competitors, and we're also like, I'm good friends with those guys. So it's good that I'm rivals with them. I mean, it's all fair play. That'll definitely be the match. Syracuse is tossed in the air. They're developing guys, so we'll see how it works.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to watching you guys play this weekend. It'll be a fun event. But more of you, congrats tonight on the win. You guys looked pretty darn good.
Thank you so much. Glad to be on the stream.
All right. And Mr. Pyro J, you as well. You have to depart us after this series. But we do have WCTC and San Diego State playing next. Kind of top 32 fringe rosters. You interested in dropping a prediction at all before you depart us?
Ooh, you said WCTC and who?
San Diego State.
All right, throw me SDSU. Yeah.
All right.
I'll give them a 4-1. I'm feeling the 4-1s tonight. But MrBepic, as always, thank you so much for having me join in the night lights, whatever weekday it is. I know you're starting this one in a few minutes, so I won't make a long outro out of it. But hope I can come back again.
Always a spot for you here. But it does do it for our primetime matchup between Boise State and Michigan State, but that doesn't mean SDSU and WCTC won't be a fantastic series upcoming. Everyone stick around for more Wednesday Night Lights.